Hello and welcome to another video. This is a slightly different one. I'm just hopping on, doing an introduction quickly, and then we'll get straight into it. But I just wanted to put this out. Obviously most of the content on my channel is and will continue to be houseplant related. But I do quite a bit of gardening, and I thought it might be fun just to bring you along with me on some of those journeys. So this was a few weekends ago now. I've been really sick, so sorry if my voice sounds a bit strange, and sorry if it sounds a bit strange on the voiceover. But yeah, I'm just getting over it. I'm coming out of the worst of it now, but yeah, I haven't been very well, so it's taken me a while to get this video out. So just to give you a bit of a backstory to what was going on, my husband is a tree surgeon and a forester, and he, I wouldn't say often, but occasionally is able to bring me home plants that would otherwise be going for disposal. So he had a customer a couple of weeks ago. They wanted him to take a whole load of trees out and then replant. So that's what he was doing. And while he was there was this other tree, and the customer just said, "It's never done anything, it hardly flowers, it doesn't grow, just get rid of it." And my husband knew it was a magnolia. I really love like flowering outdoor plants and trees. I'm not a massive fan of like colour in within the house. I quite like green plants, but outside I just want everything to be like every single colour, just everything going on. So I've got one fairly large tree outside. So he just brought it home because he knew that I would like it, but even if I didn't, it was going in the bin anyway. So he brought it home for me, just basically to see if I wanted it, if I wanted to do anything with it, and if I could rescue it, essentially. So I don't know how big it is. I'm not very good at estimating heights, but you'll see. It's not like a massive tree. I mean, the stem was probably like that thick, but it was quite tall. And so that's basically what he did. By the way, I should state, he did ask for the customer's permission to do that. He will never take anything without their permission. He said what he was wanting to do and they said absolutely. And actually I find in that situation most customers are quite happy with that, because I think even if you're not a massive planty person, there is a little bit of I don't want to say guilt, I don't really know what the word is, but there's a little bit of like, you know, throwing plants in the bin is a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me. I know it has to happen, but it's happened in the past, and when he's brought plants home for me that would otherwise be going in the bin and the customer's been over the moon that someone's going to try again and try and give it a second home. So I will run that footage now with just a quick voiceover, just letting you know what I was doing. It's nothing in detail, it's not a very long video, it was just snippets of what I have done, the steps I've taken to try and get this tree in better health, really. So this is what the root ball is looking like. It's not very big, and then going up towards the top of the plant, it's quite tall, not very bushy, but you can really see here that there's some fungus in amongst the soil. This was planted just in the ground, not in a pot, but there is quite a lot of fungus. You can see, obviously it's not in leaf, it's a deciduous plant, so it wouldn't be right now, but it has got some good buds. So I'm just trying to break up the roots and trying to get as much of that soil off as I can, as much of that fungus off as I can. You can see two types of soil here. I believe the difference there is just the compost that the plant was grown in the pot in the nursery, and then the other colour is the ground that it was planted into after that. And then I basically brought it over to the hose pipe. We are very lucky, we've got a soak away in the front garden, so I just put it on this so it's not going to block any drains up with all the soil that was coming off. But I just wanted to get as much of that soil off as I possibly could and have a good look at the root system. So once I'd done that, I brought it back over to the top and I had a closer look at the roots, and you can see that I did actually end up chopping some of them for various reasons. Some of them were broken and some of them just looked a bit rotten.
So I thought I'm just going to chop back anything that doesn't look great to stop any risk of rotting. And then here I'm showing you just the crocks that I put in the bottom of the pot just to increase the drainage. Then the first layer of soil I did about a 50-50 mix with the compost and sand, again just to increase that drainage as much as possible. And then for this mix, which is going to be what I plant the actual root ball into, is just a slightly heavier on the compost. There's less sand. I just tend to layer it like that to make sure there's enough well draining soil at the bottom. And then this is me just potting up the tree. But yeah, pretty simple, just like a houseplant really, which is sort of what I normally film. But obviously just on a much bigger scale than any of my houseplants anyway. And then you can see that I am just tapping the pot down as much as possible, just to try and fill any air pockets that might be in there without pushing down, because you do want some oxygen in around the root system. You don't want to like stamp on it and really squash it in there, but you also don't want really big air pockets. So it is a bit of a difficult one. So that's why I just tend to, in this case I was kicking the pot. In a second, I tap it with the trowel just to make sure that there's no air pockets in there. One thing to note here, which is actually really important, and I think is a lot of the time people can actually get this quite wrong, is you do not want to plant plants too deep into the ground or into a pot. I see this a lot. People will put a plant's trunk or stem into a pot, potentially a couple of inches higher than it should be potted, and that can have really bad effects on a plant. It causes rot, and can basically end with the plant dying, if that rot gets in there too badly. And I'm mentioning this just because after I potted up this magnolia, there were also 2 beech trees that my husband brought home, which I potted up. I didn't film those because it's much of a muchness. Looks exactly the same as this but different trees, and they had been planted probably about 4 inches too deep. And this magnolia also, you can see where it was planted, they'd all been planted too deep, and that can have such a massive effect on plants. So really something to note when you're planting. And then moving on to the final view of this plant. This is a few days later. I completely forgot to get a picture of it all plotted out, and it is incredibly difficult to see as it doesn't have any leaves. But you can see these buds are coming through. That pot should service it for a while.
So as I said, it wasn't very long. It wasn't like the most amazing filming at all. I literally just sort of grabbed my phone out just to document what I was doing, to share with you, and also for me just to be able to look back. Hopefully in a couple of years time the tree will have grown considerably and it'll be looking beautiful, and it'll be really nice to look back and see exactly how it was when I got it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. If you do want to see a bit of a mix of like gardening and houseplants, then let me know, because I can certainly do more gardening-y videos as soon as the sun comes out, and sometimes even when it doesn't. I like being outside, getting on with the gardening now that the season's kind of coming. Lots of things are budding up and there's plenty of jobs to do out there, so I can definitely start filming those sorts of things if that would be something you'd be interested in watching. So do let me know. But thank you very much for watching this video. If you did like the video, then please do give me a thumbs up, it would mean a lot. And if you want to see more of my content, then subscribing to my channel would be much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, bye.